Hello, everyone. This is Henry Harris. Hope you're having an amazing day today. And as you know, every week we've been coming talking about my book called Facing Our Wounds. We are into session 8. We have two more sessions to go, two more chapters to go. And I tell you, I've really enjoyed coming to you every week from the perspective of the author to come and just elaborate my thoughts on the book. I read just a portion of each chapter to kind of let you know my thoughts and my intent and why I wrote it. And I just want to say thank you for all of you who have purchased the book. Many people are still sending me photos, expressing their gratitude and thanks. And I just want to say thank you so much. Chapter 8 is pretty much about forgiveness. My perspective on forgiveness as it relates to trauma may be a little different because many of us have been taught that once the perpetrator or the person who victimized you, once they hurt you, it is your responsibility to forgive them right away. And I've come to find out that that's not always the case. Some people find it hard to even start the forgiving process. Oftentimes people are judged who don't forgive quickly or forgive right away, or they're told such things as, if you don't forgive, you're leaving bitterness in yourself. All these other things that we hear that can be somewhat insensitive to the person who was victimized. So I wrote this chapter in chapter 8 called I Choose to Remember. Because oftentimes when we go through certain stuff in our lives, or when we've been traumatized by someone or victimized by someone, we have this mentality that we need to forgive right away. And we don't realize that even forgiveness within itself is a process. I mean, not everyone can forgive that quickly. So I'm just going to read a portion of this. We have all experienced hurt, abuse, rape, emotional trauma, molestation, overall woundedness. And we commonly hear just forgive and forget. Many may think that this is a profound statement, but in so many ways it's unrealistic and insensitive. You know, when you tell somebody to forgive and forget, you're actually telling them to forget whatever happened to them, which you shouldn't do that. That's why I've named this chapter I Choose to Remember. I don't choose to remember to keep me in the to keep me in that position or area of woundedness or hurt or pain. I choose to remember because I don't want to associate myself with that person again. Whether it's something that they did to me or whether it's something that I have inflicted upon myself, I choose to remember. My good friend in the same chapter, Julie, states this. She says, "You were not designed to forget." Wow, that's powerful, isn't it? You were not designed to forget. But many of us have been taught to forget. That's the worst thing you can do is to forget about what happened to you or to forget your trauma. Just forgive and forget, pretend like it didn't happen. That doesn't work for a lot of people. I do not hold to the belief of forgive and forget. I believe in forgiveness, but forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. And also, forgiveness doesn't always mean reconnection. Oftentimes, when we have been traumatized by someone, many people teach that once you forgive them, you need to reconcile with them. Once you forgive them, you need to reconnect with them. The reality of it is that you don't have to do that. Forgiveness does not equate reconciliation. I can forgive you for what you've done to me. That doesn't mean I have to give you access to my life. I can forgive you for what you have done to me and the trauma you have put in my life or caused in my life. Doesn't mean I need to reconcile or be buddies with you again. And that has a lot to do with trauma. We have to be realistic about this subject and tell ourselves, yes, I do forgive you, but I will never, ever trust you again. You have heard me say this before and I repeat it again. Trust is a gift. Let's see what else in here we can read. It's never easy to instantly forgive and forget. It's a process. Some people will never forgive. And if they decide to never forgive, that is their decision, not yours. Other people do forgive, but they forgive in overtime. You may not know or understand the damage the perpetrator has caused, so you really don't have the right or authority to tell someone how to process their pain. And also in this chapter too, I talk about the perpetrator a lot, the one who's hurt you. They don't have the right to tell you how to process your pain. Oh, you still ain't over it yet? You still didn't get over it? You still hurt by that? You as the perpetrator, if you caused the pain in that person's life, you don't have the right or the authority to tell that person how to process their pain. They may forgive you, and even if they don't, that's their decision. They may forgive you down the road, but you as the perpetrator doesn't have the right to tell that person how to do that. The perpetrator who caused the hurt also does not determine the forgiveness process for the victim or how long it will take. The perpetrator never gets to decide how long the victim should grieve. The process of grieving is inside of each individual. Wow, that's good. I'm going to read this one part right here, then we'll go to a close. When you tell a traumatized person to just forget it, you have actually reminded them of the event. Did you know that? How can you tell someone, oh, just forget it? When you tell them that, you just triggered the thought of what happened to them. How can someone forget something if you keep telling them to forget it? The fact that you're telling me to forget it brings old memories to the surface. Oh, you were wounded? Just forget it. Because that would change everything, right? And you might convince yourself that it never happened, but that doesn't even make sense, does it? It doesn't make sense. I used to believe in the forget and forgive ideology until I realized that it's simply not reality. And it's really not. It's simply not reality. So you need to take time today to process your pain. I want to encourage you to read chapter 8. I know you've read every chapter up to then. Read chapter 8. Forgiveness, you choose to forgive how you choose to forgive on your own terms. Not on the terms of the person who hurt you, not on the terms of the person who caused the trauma in your life. You choose to remember. I choose to remember. Because I don't want to put myself back in a position that I just came out of. I hope you enjoyed that. I would like to encourage all of you who are watching to go to Amazon.com and order your copy today of Facing Our Wounds. Next week, we're going to chapter 9. I'm really excited about this chapter. We're going to talk about the prison of guilt and shame. I'll see you next week.